Heyo! Welcome to the Fantasy Scout. I'm Tal, and I'll be talking about the top waiver pickups at every position for Week 3. It's under 50% ownership. I'll be using Fantasy Pros and ESPN for my data, and you can check my waiver rankings at thefantasyscout.com. You can follow me on Twitter at FantasyScouter and Instagram, The Fantasy Scout. Let's start with the running backs because they're the most scarce position. If Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, or Latavius Murray are still available, pick them up. But if not, take Gio Bernard, because Mixon's going to be sidelined for at least 1 or 2 weeks. Gio Bernard is the top claim in most competitive leagues, and if I got him, I try to trade him to the Mixon owner immediately. I like Corey Clement, Buck Allen, and Nyheim Hines too. Clement has a great opportunity while Ajayi is out, and he has the skills to back it up. Buck Allen, Nyheim Hines are decent options in half-point and full-point PPR leagues. Both are among the top targeted running backs over 2 weeks. The most scarce position may be the tight end. Eric Ebron is athletic and healthy, and he's going to be targeted by Luck like a receiver. Will Dissly is going to be a weekly thing for Russell Wilson, it seems. Week 1 was not a fluke because they repeated. I'm looking forward to the three-peat. OJ Howard is a dope athlete, but I do worry about his weekly consistency, given that I don't think that Fitzpatrick likes targeting the tight end all that much. Austin Hooper, ASJ, and Ricky Seals-Jones are all big parts of their offense, but I think Hooper has the most potential of the three. He spent a lot of time with Matty Ice in the offseason, and that should pay off. If you want to get ahead of the curve, consider Hayden Hurst or Mark Andrews on Baltimore. One of them are going to have a good season. Not sure which one, but right now it looks like Mark Andrews. Although that's a little unfair because Hurst didn't play yet. He is the more talented fella, and he's going to be coming back from a preseason injury within the next couple of weeks, I believe. As for wide receivers, Devontae Parker, Keelan Cole, Mike Williams, and Calvin Ridley should all be owned. But if they're not, snatch them. Antonio Callaway is the big pickup for me this week because he should be in for a huge season, especially since Gordon is out of the picture. And he's boys with Antonio Brown. Enough said. Lesserone, Geronimo Allison, Chris Godwin, Philip Dorsett, John Brown, and Cortland Sutton should be targeted in that order. Allison is the 2 to 3 target in Rodgers' offense. Godwin is talented, but he's in a crowded receiver corps, so temper the expectations from him on a week-to-week basis. He's probably more of a boom-bust kind of guy. Now that Josh Gordon is on the Patriots, Dorsett's role might be diminished, but he's proven a viable, sure-handed asset for Brady, so I still believe in his ability to possibly outperform Hogan, definitely Patterson. John Brown may be the best option amongst these players because he's one of the most targeted wide receivers so far this year. He's always been a top fantasy asset when he's healthy. If he can be consistent, as he has been so far, he'll have a great wide receiver 2 year. Cortland Sutton may take over the wide receiver 1 role once we figure out that Demaryius Thomas isn't up to the task as it looks like to me. Des Bryant, Anthony Miller, James Washington, Jarius Wright, Albert Wilson, and Tavon Austin are pickups for deeper leagues, or if you want to get ahead of the crowd, maybe even Jordan Matthews you can add into that list. There was news that he's going to be signed with the Eagles as long as the physical comes back fine. The Jets' defense is legitimate, although I'm worried about them because their schedule is brutal. The Browns are really good. Going up against the Jets this week should prove productive for the Browns because the rookie, Sam Darnold, even though he's good, he's still a rookie and he's going to make mistakes. Costly mistakes. Like pick 6 type of mistakes, especially with the Browns D, who played the Saints and Pittsburgh, 2 of the most prolific offenses in the league, and they came out to be productive fantasy assets. They're currently ranked 6th amongst defenses. As for quarterbacks, this is probably the time to choose correctly. A lot of people are going to be grabbing Fitzpatrick, and maybe he leveled up with his weapons. He might be a quality quarterback, maybe. I'm still skeptical. And it came out that Jameis Winston is being sued. Not that I'm sure that's not going to impact this season, but if Fitz continues in this next game to do well the way he has, then I don't see Jameis starting when he gets back until Fitz shits the bed again. Shits Patrick. You know what I mean? Go with your gut and take the best player that you think is going to have a season-long impact as far as quarterbacks. I like Blake Bortles for a season-long upside kind of guy. He's got decent weapons, Keelan Cole, ASJ, Moncrief, etc. Andy Dalton, Tyrod Taylor are in a similar tier to me. If you drafted Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, Stafford, Alex Smith, Luck, Watson, even Russell Wilson right now, I'd be looking to carry 2 quarterbacks. Unless you have like 5 spots on your bench. Then it's hard to stash a second QB. If you want to get ahead of the curve, you can stash a second quarterback. And I would consider these few. Baker Mayfield, obviously, he's going to be a stud. Who knows what happens? Tyrod could get injured, and he's not looking all that great anyway. He has to win a game, right? Although it's been the kicker that's the problem over there. Anyway, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. Actually, I think Josh Rosen is the most likely to step into a starting role and have a huge impact. It's going to give all the fantasy assets around him relevance in Arizona. Josh Allen is better than most people perceive him to be. I'm not saying he's going to win a Super Bowl in 2018, but in fantasy, there may be a lot of opportunities for points, to a few players on the Bills, including himself. So I appreciate you listening. I hope that was useful advice. This is the Fantasy Scout. I'm Tal. Have a wubba dubba dub dub day. Thank you very much.